Hey guys, welcome to the often imitated, never duplicated Thunder and Lightning Show. Episode 16. Today we got Anastasia Stewart, my co-host of all time, and Casey Taylor from DT School of Fitness, CrossFit 221. Bam. I like it. I got it. Thanks for coming on the show, ladies. Glad you're back in town, Anastasia, for a little bit. This episode we're going to talk about body image. Training a lot of girls, training a lot. I often train more women than I do men. So I have a little bit of experience with this because I've heard it, I've listened to it from this one and many more. And I didn't think it's always wise for me to give my opinion on it and what I think about it because, I do have an opinion on it. I do think about it. I do care about it. But it's different whenever you hear it from a woman's perspective and understanding how they feel about it. And if you have a daughter, or if you're a woman, I would listen to this episode because we're going to kind of talk about body image and kind of my thing is being able to train girls from the age of 14, 13, 12, all the way to grown women. I've seen a plethora of just different body image issues that they go through, and definitely as their bodies mature. As I say, like looking at a girl who from 5th grade to middle school, that awkward, goofy stage, to becoming a woman and becoming a woman, there's issues with all that. And sometimes girls get caught up in not eating, trying to make sure their body looks a certain way. And I just want to talk to that because these are two women that are strong, positive women who've gone through that, but I think have come on the other end and have things to say. So I'm gonna let Anastasia go first and just open with your heart. Anastasia, what do you have to say?
Well, I mean, I think body image issues probably started for me around middle school. I was always taller than all of my friends, and I still am a very long,
tall and gangly,
gal to this day. But I was always taller than all my friends, and I was a little bit chubbier. I went through a chubby phase in middle school. And I was the first one in my friend group to hit 100 pounds, and that was a really big deal. It was like, oh my God, she's 100 pounds. Like everyone else was like 90, 80 pounds, which is really crazy to think about that I was once 100 pounds. But, and so it just made me feel a little bit self-conscious. And as I came into 7th and 8th grade, I kind of really I got really caught up in trying to be skinny and that, cookie cutter type of beauty.
Where does that cookie cutter type of beauty, where does that come from? Like what kind of had you thinking that you had to look a certain way, if you don't mind me interjecting? It
comes from like the magazines, social media, Instagram, like that was all starting up when I was like in middle school. Just like the Victoria's Secret models, like that was a really big thing. Trying to look like that. Do
you think you're supposed to look like that, or you want to look like that, or society put that on you to look like that?
I think society probably put that on me, because before that I never really thought about like, oh, I need to be skinny to be pretty. And then I kind of got I had a lot of self-confidence issues, and I started to not eat, and that was, it had something to do with me physically, and then also had to do something with me mentally. It was a lot about me not having a lot of self-worth to myself, and not thinking that I deserved to take up a larger amount of space in the world. Yeah. Like I need to be smaller because I would have to be smaller because I didn't deserve it.
I think you're special.
Thank you. And so I started to not eat, and I started to work out with you when I was like 14, 13, and I was really small. Like those pictures that you have.
I got pictures of you.
When I was at Anytime, I was really small, and I didn't perform well at all. It was bad. I couldn't work out as much. I didn't really
where you're at now compared to where you were at.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you're there.
And
completely.
It took a long time
because
for me. Thank you. Way to go, Coach. But it took a long time for me, and a lot of honestly ups and downs to kind of get to where I am today. And a lot of it was because I started doing weightlifting. It gave me something. It gave me more than just a goal to look good. Yeah. Because now I have in the gym goals instead of I want to weigh this much, or I want to have a 6-pack, or I want to have hanging hammies or whatever. That
it's not based on aesthetics.
Yeah, it's not based on aesthetics. It's based on PRs and performance, and that gives me more goals to work for, because everyone always has a goal in here. That's always, you have to have something to work for to keep going. Why else would you be working out? And so changing my mindset from like working out to look good versus working out to get PRs and bettering myself, and that made me feel more confident. Like I feel better about myself now that I can clean and jerk X amount versus when I was so small you could see my rib cage and I had abs because there was no fat on my stomach. There was no fat on my stomach.
I don't know if we call those abs.
Skinny abs.
Yeah, there were skinny abs. And so, thank you.
That's deep, man. Casey, you want to expand on that?
Yeah, so, well, for me personally, I grew up doing gymnastics, which you would think being a gymnast, you work out 40 hours a week and everybody is in impeccable shape. But even as a child, a very small child, you're in a leotard and you just basically, you're in that all day, comparing yourself to other girls, comparing yourself to the people that you're around, and it, you know, it's like a different kind of breed. I think that there's a lot of eating disorders in gymnasts because of this very reason. So I think that's kind of where it started, and it was it just kind of morphed into there. I always had body issues, even from a small child, middle school, high school, and granted there wasn't the social media pressures that wasn't around. I don't know what I would be looking like if it was. I don't think that's a whole different like scope of issue, because that's so much pressure, and I don't know how. I really have a lot of respect to, you know, girls that have had to, especially like during this change, and not having parents that could prepare them or people around you that could prepare you for how to handle those sort of things. For me, those pressures, you know, it came a lot from my friends. Everybody saying, you know, about it, you have to weigh a certain amount, you have to look a certain way, and I was never the skinny girl. I was never, you know, I always had a stomach. But I was always stronger. But there was this little glimpse of hope, like doing cheer or doing whatever, that made me feel good about being the strong one. But you're still chasing this idea of runway models and Victoria's Secret models, and this is the way we've got to look. This is the, you know, and your friends' social pressure of like, this is what beautiful is. It was really challenging for me. I figured out I'm ADD. I started taking Adderall senior year of high school, and then not necessarily like abused it, but figured out, hey, this doesn't make me hungry, and started using that as a way of not eating. It was always like, well, I'm gonna try this, but man, the biggest problem for me is just like, I love food. I always have. And now I embrace that. I embrace the fact that I'll go throw it down and eat a ton of food, but in the midst of all that, if somebody would have just handed me a barbell whenever I was a kid, I think that I'd have been such a beast, just because I would have figured out that feeling of strength a lot sooner, like how good it feels to be strong and not weigh yourself twice a day, you know, like I maybe jump on the scale once every 2 weeks to a month now. Like it just doesn't really, it's just a number. And now that I'm like a business owner and that it's gone from a competitive athlete, it's been a little bit of a shift again because I don't work out as much, but I think it's an ongoing thing, and if there's a girl out there that's like, I don't even have problems with body image, they're lying. Every girl has problems with body image, every single one, because of the way that our society is, and it's unfortunate. But if there was more people that came together and were, you know, strong around me as a young teenager or a kid, I think that would have had a huge impact.
I know just from me being on training girls, and then, I mean, I trained them in gyms and one-on-one, like with Anastasia, but the thing I love most is training them in here when we have a barbell like that. And the funnest thing that I see is whenever a girl picks up a barbell for the first time with a deadlift or anything and drops it and like sees that they're strong, like they're hooked. I mean, I love training girls way more than the guys, just because of that empowering. I feel that they get more out of it than the guys do.
Yeah.
There's a
Mentally.
bigger change in them and liking to work out than the guys do.
You can see that light flick on
Oh my
in
God.
their eyes.
Yeah.
It's actually one of the most rewarding feelings of a coach.
Every time with anybody. And that's why I love training the volleyball girls and all that, and any girl. I love seeing them enjoy this and find their strength, and that it's cool to be strong.
No,
And
yes.
it's they're capable of flipping the bar around and throwing it over their head and dropping it and clapping some chalk. Those things I know are valuable. And I've kind of seen girls, while I've been here and owning this type of gym, I've seen girls find out they're really strong and then enjoy that, and I'll have a year with them where they're all in and love it, and then they start thinking, I'm too bulky, I'm too this, I'm too that. They love being strong, but they're worried about the muscle, and I'm too big. I'm like, you're an athlete. Like, that's an athlete type body.
Athletes have
Like, to me, I like an athlete body. I'm just sorry, that's what it is. You know, I'd rather that than a skinny mini or anything like that. So I'm always like, where's that coming from? Where's that pressure coming from? Because who doesn't want to be strong and capable? You know, and what is going on at school or at home or anywhere where they think that's a problem, and they're not any bigger. I mean, your jeans are a little tighter. Buy bigger jeans. Your jeans are probably too small in the first place, right?
Stretchy jeans.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I always worry about that because I know what they start doing is not eating or not eating enough, and then I'm like, you
And your
suck today.
performance suffers.
Yeah, you suck
Yeah.
today. What's going on? Well, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, no. You need to eat. What are you eating? Well, I ate some almonds and some like.
And some cheese.
You're an athlete. You can't. You gotta eat. You gotta perform. You gotta fuel your body. So anything I can do to kind of stop that. Once I saw that problem, I'm like, I don't know if it's my place to say because I'm a guy and I'm a male, but I think I try to be a positive male influence on women or anybody. But I wanted to hear the female side of it because I understand what you guys go through and I see it. I recognize it. I don't want to be ignorant to it, especially being in this field where we
With
train
a lot of girls.
We train a lot of girls. We train a lot of women, and I see it, and I want them to feel strong and capable and not worry about that. You know, and it's easy for me to say, I'm like, stop worrying about that, but I'm not you. I'm not inside your head. You know what I mean?
And I don't have those pressures from society either.
Even if
So-
I did, I don't understand. I'm in my
It's
own head.
weird. It's like something about the female brain. It takes that to a different level of needing to please everyone. I think that's like where what it stems from is like our gender's like role is to help and please and
And that's something that's been
Support.
ingrained for centuries.
since cavemen
Yeah.
basically. And I think that so I don't really think that there will ever be a time in the world where girls won't have to struggle with this, but if we can like show more
Different type of
female
women.
role
Yeah,
models
yeah.
and everything like that, because you have a lot of like really good older girls here
Yeah.
who have struggled through all of this and come out on the other side better, and so having those girls in here along with like the younger ones and they have someone to look up to, it'll help.
Help bridge that gap for
Yeah.
them.
I personally know growing up and going through this and evolving as a human being and as a woman, that like for me it's about like just maturity in the situation. Like at the older I get, the more I accept this is who I am. This is how God made me. Yeah, my traps get big. You know, like my legs get big. You know, that just happens as I continue to lift, but those are also things that I embrace now.
Yeah.
Well, not that I never really didn't embrace them, but there would be times where I'm like, man, I can't fit in any of my clothes anymore.
Yeah.
I don't. This jacket fit me last year. It doesn't fit me this year. You know, my shoulders they've gotten bigger. But I don't associate that with like, oh, I'm fatter. I think I'm stronger.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly, yeah.
So I think it took a long time, and there's still times where I have to come back and go like, hey, you know what? Like I'm an athlete. Like I'm a bigger body. Like and it's not like I'm huge, but I'm thicker. I've got muscle.
This is my body type.
This is who I am, and I think it's about accepting and loving yourself for who you are and the things that are, you have to love yourself. You have to love yourself, and it doesn't matter. there's girls that I have that are tiny and they want to be bigger, and they're stuck and they're like, man, I just want to get my legs to get bigger. I want my legs to get bigger, and it's like, your legs may never be the biggest in the gym, but you just train your body as best as it will, as it will allow, and then love yourself for that, because look how far you've come. You've gained 20 pounds since you started doing this. Like, you're in the right direction. So I do feel it's an acceptance and a love and a, loving yourself.
Kind of changing to that mindset instead of coming from like a comparison standpoint, more of like looking at yourself and loving yourself for who you are instead of what you look like compared to the others around you.
Yeah.
Comparing is like the highway to just disappointment in yourself.
Exactly.
Like, I struggle so hard with comparing myself to other people and other girls and all different, just not even just in the gym, just like on the streets. It's so hard, but you kind of have to snap yourself out of that and be like, you know what, no, my body is my representation of what I've put into it, and I'm not done. I'm not even close to where I want to be, but you just gotta appreciate that everyone is on their own kind of track, and we're all in different places, and you just have to bring yourself back and be like, just because that girl has great thighs and amazing traps doesn't mean that I don't. It just means that she is great and I am too. You have to separate that. Just because that girl's pretty doesn't mean I'm not pretty. So that's just something that
I think it's easy for everybody to look and admire something else and want to be like that. I mean, the grass is always greener on the other side, right? And I think when you have the conversation about everybody appreciates everybody else, and it's harder to appreciate yourself because you're taught not to be all about yourself. I wasn't taught that. But
obviously.
Hang on, can we stop there for a second?
But that's how it is, right? The grass is always greener. You always want to be something else. And I think we teach more self-love and being proud of yourself and what you have and what you are, and appreciating that. It's okay to appreciate other people and like that, and like the big guy or the smaller girl or whatever. And it's okay to love what you got.
Yeah, there's a difference between appreciating what somebody else has, what somebody else looks like, as opposed to comparing yourself to what somebody else has and what somebody else looks like. And that's kind of the mindset you have to break as, looking at this person and noticing what they have that you might, wish you had, but accepting okay, that's not me, but I still have things that I love about me.
And you could have something that the other person wants.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Not even just
You
physical,
probably
but
do.
your mental strength, or just you could have gone to law school and that person always wanted to be a lawyer, but they didn't make it, but you did that. There's so many different parts of it that you have to remember that everyone has their own special thing, and you can't just let everything just be physical.
You have to appreciate individuality.
My biggest thing, and what I tell people, and why I don't really get caught up in all this stuff, is just because you're just as good as anybody else. Everybody has their flaws, everybody has their stuff, everybody has their issues, right? My issues are my issues, his issues are his issues, y'all's issues, we all have them. We all have, hey, I wish my pinky wasn't broken and crooked like that. You know what I mean? Everybody has their stuff, and everybody has their stuff. And you're just as good as anybody else. I think having the conversation and people letting down their insecurities and not trying to be perfect all the time makes people feel more comfortable. I think it's why people feel comfortable in here. Because I'm the first to make a jackass of myself. To care less.
I'm usually right behind them.
Yeah. So, that's kind of what I want to do, and kind of why I wanted to have you girls talk about it. Because I understand women have awkward stages, and don't think guys don't have body issues. They definitely do. We're the most sensitive about trying to look strong and be strong, and afraid to look like a dumbass, especially the guys in here, like the high school guys and younger guys. They
don't stick around long.
They don't even like to be in here because we'll call them out. You know what I mean? And they don't want to look.
They're
sensitive. You're cool is being cool. You can't not be cool, right?
One thing about the men struggling with masculinity in the gym, I've noticed, is that girls sometimes will hold back because they don't want to embarrassment or degrade the other the man's masculinity. I know a couple of my really good friends in the gym, shout out to Hannah Winslet, she's this beast of a girl.
She's
and
alright.
she
Hannah, you ain't all that. Your squats could be better.
She has these she is so strong and her body looks it, and she has bigger thighs than some of the guys in the gym, and but she doesn't let that judge who she can date or things like that. There's always oh, I don't want to date a guy that has smaller legs than me, but you can't hold yourself back to make a man feel like a man. That's not our job.
That's not yours. Well, a little bit, but not really. Yes,
that's not our job.
He needs to be secure in himself.
Men
right?
have to be secure in their own selves, and they have to have their own. They have to have their own journey.
I got a whole show conversation on that.
Different show. We'll come back for that one. But yeah, thank you guys for opening up and talking about your issues and our issues and what we see. I want everybody, women. I want people to be positive. I want people to understand that everybody has issues. Everybody has their own body type. Everybody has their own thing. Love your thing. Love your crazy. Love yourself.
Don't allow yourself to get sucked into that box that you think you're supposed to fit in.
Yeah, you can be whoever you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do. Look however you want to be. Enjoy your own crazy and your authentic self, and I think we'll all be better. But we need to have role models of people living their authentic selves more. And if I can bring that and put it on Facebook or whatever, I'll do that. Because y'all know I don't care. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
This was another Thunder and Lightning Show, often imitated, never duplicated. Thunder and Lightning Show, episode 16. Hey guys, love, peace, and happiness. Thank you.